So, dear colleagues, hello one more time. We are starting another webinar of CAT for Grad program, the aim of which is to cover the gap in the technological competences training at universities. So we surely hope that the project will help to develop courses training CATs at universities after watching and learning the materials that we provide better. And today our speaker is Alessandro Cattelan. Alessandro is the Vice President of Operations at Translated, where he oversees the project management and account management. And what is more interesting for us today, he's product manager of the MateCat translation tool. So he's responsible for defining software requirements, specifications, and user experience. I hope combining these two roles will help to answer your questions and to get to have a better idea about cloud-based tools, about CATs globally, about technological competences as well. So, Alessandro, you're welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. And thank you everybody for attending this webinar. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Alessandro, can you hear me okay? I hope so. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to present MateCat, which is a free and online translation software for everybody. And then we'll go through a brief demonstration of the software. And of course, I'm more than happy to answer all your questions regarding MateCat or any other queries you might have. So first of all, let's start with the presentation. I'm going to share my screen now and share the presentation as soon as possible. Okay, we tried this before. Let's see if it works again. Oh. Okay, one more minute. I'm not too familiar with the system that we're using for the webinar today, so I need maybe some help on this. Okay, it doesn't work like during our test, I'm afraid. We'll have to do it all over again.
Okay, while Alessandro is fixing the issue, I can back up and give a very short information about MateCat tool. Just as advertisement, yet being actually not only university representative, but also industry representative, I should admit that MateCat is the tool which is gaining more and more popularity all over Eastern Europe especially. I'm sure Alessandro will speak more about other aspects of it. Yet what I can say is that in Eastern Europe and in Ukraine, Russia, it's gaining popularity even more now. This is I know for sure, since actually many clients now and many freelancers can use the tool and know about the tool. Okay, it seems to me we have fixed the problem, so yes. I'm giving the floor to Alessandro again. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you again. I'm sorry for this little problem. We tested this actually an hour ago and it worked, but apparently something went wrong. Anyway, we can now start with this presentation. That's true what you were mentioning just now. For some reason, MateCat is pretty popular in Eastern Europe. Poland is very strong. Ukraine and Russia are two of the main areas where we see a lot of usage. And what are those people looking for? Well, many advantages that MateCat can offer. So MateCat is, first of all, it's an online tool, completely free. It's even open source. And what is more important, it's been developed for professional translators. So for professional usage. Let's see what actually the software is. This is a brief overview of the presentation. So we'll start with what is MateCat, then we'll do a little demo as I was mentioning before. We'll do it two ways. One is the fast way, so we can translate in MateCat in a couple of seconds. And then the more advanced option, so we're going to look at the private and public translation memories. We're going to talk about machine translation and how we can collaborate, and how MateCat allows you to measure productivity and even quality. First of all, so MateCat is an online software. Okay, it's online software, means no installation is required and no maintenance. We do it for you. You just go to the website and you use it. And we take care of all the pain of maintaining the software. It's a professional CAT. CAT is computer-aided translation. So it's a software for professional translators. It's been developed by translation experts and been released for the translation industry. But differently from other CAT tools, it's completely free. So we have a different business model. We'll briefly mention that, even though it's not the focus of this webinar. But that business model allows us to keep the software free for any kind of user. So academic user can use it for free. Professional translators can use it for free. Translation companies can use it for free. Unlimited users, unlimited files, unlimited projects, forever, just like Facebook. Now, how did MateCat get started? This is important for this webinar. MateCat started as a European Commission project. So it was funded by the European Commission with a 2.7 million grant, euros. And it ran from November 2011 to October 2014. The project was managed by Fondazione Bruno Kessler, which is one of the most important research centers for machine translation. Translated was one of the partners, so my company was one of the partners. And then we also had the University of Edinburgh and University of Dumaine, which are two of the main universities in the field of machine translation research. Now, this is important because MateCat was born out of a European Commission project, was born out of the labs at Fondazione Bruno Kessler and the University of Edinburgh and Dumaine. So it was devised also for training purposes and for machine translation testing and training. Nowadays, MateCat is no longer a European project, but it's a commercial product that Translated develops and releases for free as software, as an open source software. What are the key advantages of this technology? Well, it's a free translation tool for translators and LSPs. LSPs means language service provider. Those are the translation agencies, basically. Okay, everybody can just translate with MateCat in over 100 languages and with any of the 75 formats that we support. So pretty much anything that clients in the translation industry need to translate, MateCat supports. For us, and we are very bold in saying this, we are trying to disrupt the current status quo. So translation software nowadays costs thousands of dollars. We're offering for free the same technology. Second important aspect is reuse. Now, we say reuse made easy. What do we mean by that? So basically, what sits behind MateCat is a huge database of parallel parallel texts. What that means is in MateCat, you will be able to find a specific sentence and its translation provided by somebody else, another professional translator. Our motto here is that no one should translate the same sentence twice. You can improve on that, but if somebody already translated it, why translate it again? So what did we do? Over the past 8 years, we basically crawled the web, went throughout the web, and found all the websites that were available in multiple languages. We downloaded the pages from those websites and extracted the sentences in English, in Russian, in Ukrainian, in Italian, and aligned them so that if one website said, no, the house is red, and in Italian that would be la casa è rossa, we can align those sentences and give it to a translator who will need to translate maybe the house is green. Okay, this helps us to reuse what other people have done in the past and improve on that. Then the last bit is not all that important for us, but I want to touch upon that just briefly. Outsourcing. So in the translation industry, it's very important for a translation company to be able to find the best available translator for each job. Now, MateCat allows to do just that. So a translation company using MateCat can find the best translator in the platform and can outsource the job to him. And that's how MateCat makes money. So by providing that translation service. Not important, but that's how we keep MateCat free for everybody. So what translators love about MateCat? We have nowadays around 10,000, 12,000 users. And every now and then I run a survey just to get a feeling of what they love about the software. These are the three most common things that they bring up. One, it's very important, they translate more words per hour. That's how they make money, translating words. And being able to translate more words per hour means more money. How is that possible? Well, I was mentioning before, we provide to our users a huge database of previously translated sentences that help them translate faster. Those are the matches, translation matches. So MateCat provides from 10 to 20% more matches than any other translation software. On top of that, we use machine translation to speed up even more the translation throughput. Second, and this too is quite important, you translate in the cloud. This means that you can start working in the classroom, for instance, and then continue working at home. For a professional translator, this means that they can start working at home, then they go, I don't know, to their beach house, they can work on the train, on their laptop, then they get to the beach house and they continue on the computer that they have at that house. This is a real case, okay? I'm talking about something that one of my translators really mentioned. And also, very importantly, working in the cloud means that you will never lose your files because they are secure in online servers. Then, for professional translators, they also increase their business because with MateCat they can offer additional languages provided by the translation service integrated in MateCat. This is more for the professional translators out there, but it's an advantage. What are the main features of the tool? Collaboration. You can see here, it comes up quite a lot. We have collaborative translation memory, meaning that all users in MateCat can connect to the largest public translation memory and contribute to that translation memory for all other users. This has two advantages. On the one hand, you contribute to making this translation memory larger. On the other hand, you see how other professional translators translated specific sentences, so you can learn from what other professional translators did in the past. Of course, not all has to be collaborative. You can also use your private translation memories, so that stuff that only you have access to. On top of that, we have machine translation. Machine translation is deeply integrated in MateCat. I mean, we started out creating MateCat for machine translation post-editing. So I'm pretty bold here again, but maybe MateCat is the best or one of the best tools out there for machine translation post-editing. It's extremely simple to use. Machine translation is already there, so everybody can post-edit just by going to www.matecat.com. And it's a collaborative environment. Now, for me, this is extremely important. When I graduated from university, my thesis was on crowdsourcing. I strongly believe in collaboration to make our work more efficient. And when I started developing MateCat, collaboration was still on top of my head. So what we did there was creating an environment where multiple translators can work simultaneously on the same job. Let's say you have 10,000 words to translate and you want to work on that with 10 or maybe 20 or maybe 30 of your colleagues. In MateCat, you can do that with just one click. And not just that, you will be able to share the document you are translating, but you will also be able to share the translation memory, even the glossary, and something new, you can talk to each other inside MateCat. So you can help each other out, you can leave comments to each other, and exchange information at the segment level, at the sentence level, just like you would in Google Docs. Another important aspect for me was quality reports. Now, in MateCat, we built a revise functionality that helps translator and reviser work together so that the reviser will be able to evaluate the translation, leaving comments on the type of errors that he found. And of course, improving on that because he can edit the translation. This helps us in the translation industry to get accurate quality reports that are standardized. But it also helps you in understanding what kind of issues we look for when we do quality reports in the translation industry. One more important aspect of MateCat is that it's the first data-driven CAT tool. What does this mean? Pretty obscure, but really you understand it quite fast. When you are translating in MateCat, you are also collecting statistics about your editing patterns, so about your work, to better understand how you are working on a specific document. And we focus especially on two key performance indicators. One is the post-editing effort. That means how many words you changed as compared to the suggestion that you received from machine translation or translation memory. So the post-editing effort gives you an idea of how good the suggestions were, but also how much you had to work to make it perfect for your client or your professor. Finally, time to edit. That's another important aspect. You want to know how much time you are spending on a translation. And that helps you understand what is your effort at the sentence level and also at the job level. Okay. Finally, we not only release MateCat as a free software, but we also love helping our users. So we released a user manual, which is available at www.matecat.com/support. We have a user manual freely available for all of our users. But not just that. If you need more help, you can contact us via the software. And every day, we'll be able to reply to you and clarify all technical doubts that you might have, all for free. We have webinars available, just started out. We have one available next Monday from Pros. This one that we're doing now, I understand is going to be publicly available too. And we also plan to release training videos at the beginning of next year. Training videos that will explore each functionalities of MateCat. Enough talking here. Let's see how it works. So let's try to translate a sample document with MateCat. Okay, so I'm going back to my browser now, and if there's no surprise, I'm hopefully going to be able to translate for you. Now, here it is. So I was mentioning this before. To use MateCat, you just need to go to this URL, matecat.com. That's it. You don't even need to register. You can use it as an anonymous user. You just go here, you select the languages, and you upload a file. Okay, I'm going to upload this Word document here. As you can see, it's been imported pretty fast. We have pretty powerful systems in the backend. The file gets imported, and the first thing I want to know is how many words do I need to translate. So I'm going to analyze. Oops, this always happens when I do the demo. I don't know why. Okay, so let's try again. And as I'm saying, the first thing we want to know is how many words we are going to have to translate for this job. Now, I uploaded a Word file. I'm going to show it to you now. Okay, it's a pretty simple document with some formatting, an image, some text. Okay. MateCat tells you that there are 314 words to translate if you translate it in Microsoft Word, so raw words. But if you run it through MateCat, you actually only need to translate 143 words. How is that possible? Well, because somebody already translated part of this text. So you get matches from the public translation memory. Somebody translated that, you get the same translation and you can improve on that. And also, we are using machine translation, which also lowers the number of words that you're going to translate. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you the translation interface, and it's going to be pretty much clear. So you click on Translate, and then Open, and you're taken to this interface. This is where you actually do the job. Now, all you need to start working is receiving this URL. Okay. You can see that it's a Translate interface. This is the project name. These are the language pair. And then this alphanumeric string, which you can see here. This is basically a password to make the URL unique so that nobody can access that URL if you don't give it to them. And this is where you actually do the translation. So on the left column, you have the source text broken down into individual sentences. On the right hand, it's where you do your translation. So gain control over your translations, 100%. What does it mean? Well, if we click on this button here, you can see that we get 3 matches, 3 suggestions from previously translated content. So somebody, a couple of days ago, already translated this sentence and said, in Italian, you can say, ottenere il controllo sulle tue traduzioni. I like that, but I like it more personal, so I go like this. Ottieni il controllo sulle tue traduzioni. Or even better, prendi il controllo delle tue traduzioni. Okay? So I'm basically getting a suggestion. I don't like it. I'm improving on that, and then I confirm. And I move on to the next segment. And on and on. I can go here and fix everything just to make sure that it sounds just like I want it to do. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm editing the text in this area, starting from the suggestion that I received from the public translation memory here, or from machine translation here. Okay, so let's say again, like that. Now, at any time during your translation, you can download a preview of the file. So you click on preview, and you basically get the same file with the same layout and formatting, except that it's all in the target language. Now, if you remember, we only translated a few sentences here, but the rest is already in Italian. How is that possible? Well, again, we are reusing content, we are using machine translation, and we are generating a sort of a pseudo-translated file to make sure that the layout and formatting look exactly like the original English file that you can see now. So this helps you understand that at the end of the job, you can just deliver it without any further work. And basically, you continue translating like this, and you're done. This is the fast way. So this is how you can translate with MateCat by creating a project in a matter of minutes. But let's do something more fun. So let's go back and try again creating another project in MateCat, but looking a bit under the hood and trying to understand what other options MateCat offers. Okay, so again, we go back to this page, matecat.com, and we upload the same file that we were translating before, like that. But then I think, okay, I also have a translation memory. So previously translated sentences that I created for a previous job. I also have a glossary. Okay, so what I do is I upload them too to MateCat. Now I select the languages. So the source is English. The target is Italian, but let's say that I also want to translate into, I don't know, let's say French. Okay, any of these languages really would work. The only few that I speak are English, Italian, French, and Spanish, so that's what I'm going to go with. You can even select the subject here. So let's say this is information technology. And the segmentation rule, this is a bit more complicated. Maybe we can go back to that later if you have questions. I don't want to confuse you with all that. And you can add a machine translation engine. So by default, MateCat uses My Memory, which provides translation from Google Translate, which we post-process to make it more suitable for translation. But if you want, for training purposes or even for real work, you can add your own empty engines. So if you have an account on Microsoft Translator Hub, for instance, you can connect it. You just enter your credentials here, and you start working in MateCat with Microsoft Translator Hub. If you have a Moses system, same thing happens. You enter your credentials, and you connect your Moses system, and you use that for your translations. Okay. But we'll stick with My Memory now. I also want to use specific translation memories. Now in MateCat, I still have the same interface here, and I can add translation memories to my job, just like I'm doing now. So you can see active translation memories, inactive translation memories. These are the ones that I'm going to use. And let's say that this is my most important one. Most important. Yeah. This is just dummy stuff. And this is my second. Yeah. Okay. I want to write my translations only into the second TM, but it's the second one. So I can drag and drop it here. And this is the order of priority. So first, you will get suggestions, help from this translation memory, most important. Then you would get suggestion from the second TM. And finally, you would get suggestion from the dummy. Let's call it TM. Okay. I'm going to close this interface now. And again, off to the analysis. So we'll run the analysis again. And what is different here is that we are using private translation memories. So the data that we're going to use now comes from the public one, from the public translation memory, but just in read mode. My translations will go into the private one, and nobody will be able to see that except for me. So you can see here you have your project English to French, English to Italian, English to Spanish. Now, let's say that I want to translate in Spanish, okay? Let's speak Spanish. But I'm a bit lazy, I must say, so I don't want to translate it all by myself. I want to translate it with some colleagues, okay? Let's say just 3 people, okay? I select split in 3 jobs, click split, and I get 3 parts, check, confirm. Basically, I get 3 separate translate buttons. Let's open the second one. Again, we're here, open, and we're basically taken to the same interface that we were seeing before, except that I'm in the middle of the job. Okay? Why is that? Well, I'm the second translator. The first translator will start here, but I cannot edit that because that part has not been assigned to me. I can, however, work here. So again, I'll open the translation matches just to see what I get. Find out how MateCat will enable you to descubra cómo MateCat te permitirá de, digamos. And then translate again, translate again. And I can go on like this until the end of my part, okay, which should come pretty fast. Okay, that's it. This is my last segment. What about these ones? These have been assigned to the third translator. However, I know that I want to say something to this translator. I want to tell him, hey, when you find TM, please use translation memory as the translation. Okay? And basically, I leave a comment to the other translator. He will be able to reply to me, and we can start discussing about what the best translation is. This helps us a lot, especially during revision, to be honest, so that you know, when somebody is doing a translation, you want to help him, and you leave them a comment there. These comments will go to the email of the user, but they're also available in the interface here as a recap of all the comments in the job. If you notice, while I was translating, in the bottom bar, these numbers came up. I was going a bit too fast maybe, but MateCat tells me that I was translating 18,000 words per hour. Of course, I was just only accepting that. But when you are working, you will actually see there your actual speed, which is usually, I don't know, 300, 400 words per hour. And how much time it will take you to complete the job based on your own speed. Okay? One more thing that's happening while we're doing this is we are collecting editing statistics. So the editing log here, you click on that link and you're taken to this interface where basically what you see are statistics for your job. So how much time you spent on that, what was the average seconds per word, and the post-editing effort. You can see that for all segments, or all the segments that we accepted basically. But you may also notice that some figures are red. How is that possible? Well, in this case here, for instance, I translated 18 words in less than a second. Quite impossible, right? I wouldn't even be able to read the original segment, not to mention write down the translation. So this segment, maybe it's not correct. So I want to go back to that and fix it. So I can go here and let's say translate again. But there's another more important thing. You can see up here that your average post-editing effort is way below the average. So it's 0.38%, whereas the average for this language pair, so from English to Spanish, the average post-editing effort is 17%. What is post-editing effort again? It's this one. So how many changes, as you can see here in red and blue, how many changes I applied from the suggestion to the translation. Okay? Basically, this gives you an idea of you're doing a good job or maybe going too fast. Okay. So that is basically the translation interface with multiple translators. But let's see something more. Let's go to the Italian one, which is more easier for me to play with. It's easier. Now, gain control over your translations. Again, let's say like this, ottieni controllo sulle traduzioni, accept, accept. Now, I'm doing this translation, but what if I want to do a revision here? Again, the bottom bar, you can see the revise link. You click on that one, and you're taken to this interface. Quite similar to the previous one, but as you may notice, there is a new revise tab. So what this does is it gives you basically an idea of what changes you applied during the revision. So in this case, ottieni il controllo sulle vostre traduzioni. In Italian doesn't work because vostre is plural, ottieni is singular. So what I do is sulle tue traduzioni, which is much better. You can see here the changes in track changes mode, and especially you see here that you can select the type of issue. Now, in this case, it was a language quality because I had my grammar all wrong, and it was an actual error. So I'll mark it as an error and then approve because I fixed it. Now it's okay, but it was an error. And I'll move on to the next segment. Again, misurare la produttività e la qualità con MateCat. We uploaded a glossary before, so you can see it's highlighted here, and we have a term in the glossary. So productivity has been translated into productività, perfect. So good job for the translator. Misurare la produttività e la qualità con MateCat is a good translator, good translation. So no need to edit anything, I'll just approve it. And go on like this, okay? Let's say that here, in this case, I do have an error. Let's say just a translation error, just for the sake of it. So I'll go like this and say it was a translation error and approve. If you notice, this label turned from green to red. Why is that? Because the quality report is what we generate when you do the revision. So basically, every time you approve a segment and mark the errors, they are registered in this quality report. that tells you what is the overall quality of your project. So if it's a fail or excellent, etc. And what kind of errors were in that job. So in this case, we had one translation error and one language quality issues that turned this into a failure. You of course have here a score that goes all the way from excellent down to fail. Okay. This is what we are actually using in MateCat to do the revision for professional settings, so for our actual clients. And it's working quite well, I must admit. One final thing that I want to mention to you is the fact that in MateCat you also have what we call a management panel. It's down here on the right, you can see Manage. You click on that and you get to this interface. This is only available to users who logged in. You don't need to do anything to log in, really. Just need your Google account and you can log in for free. And when you do that, basically you have this interface that lists all your projects, so all the projects that you're working on, how much you've done of those projects, so the progress. And also you can do some management activities like changing a password, canceling the job, starting a revision, archiving the job, or exporting the TMX. The TMX is really just the translation memory, so all the sentences that you translated aligned in such a way that you can reuse them in another software, in another tool to perform your translation, let's say in the studio or in MemoQ or whatever you like. Of course, when you start using MateCat, you will never go back, but still, if you want to, those are the options. So I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to show you so far. Just to recap, MateCat is basically a web tool. You can go there, start playing with it. You have access to our manual here from the support link. So you will find out all the information that you need to actually use the software. And if something is missing here, well, you have this green label. You send us an email and we'll get back to you, usually in a couple of hours during business hours, Central European time. But to be honest, we also work on Saturdays and Sundays because we are all workaholics here. I think that covered pretty much everything I wanted to show you. So back to you, Alexander.
Okay, great, Alessandro. Thank you very much. As I see, while you were speaking, there appeared pretty many questions. So we can proceed with the questions, I hope. Yep.
Yes.
And as I see, the first question is from Alexei. First of all, I should make a remark that with every webinar, the audience is getting more and more professional. I see now that the questions, many of the questions are asked not by the beginners, but those who are already quite professional with the computer edit tool. So the question from Alexei is, RTM files stored on your servers all the time, or they can be deleted after a certain storage period, like it happens with memsource?
So in our case, oh no, it's not at all. Actually, it's pretty easy. In our case, if you want to keep those translation memories on the servers forever, they can stay there forever. However, and I'm going back to the interface, when you have your personal translation memories here, you have also this button. You click there and you can delete it. So basically, you are removing the translation memory like this. Pretty easy, I guess. So it's all up to you.
I think you should make a
You
good
can store them forever. I'm sorry?
You should make a good teacher, I guess. So you explain and show right away. It's a good method.
Okay.
Yes. So to sum it up, you can store the TM if you like, or you can delete it. It's up to you. It's up for the user, right? Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. The second question is from Evgeny. Can we apply our own rates for different types of matches? I even wanted to specify it, and Evgeny explained that actually, usually, clients consider that a machine translation is, I don't know, maybe of 10% help. And so the leverage from it is 10%. So can we move it or shift it to 80% and so on? So can we change the grid settings?
So right now, no. And the reason why that's impossible is that we are using different values for different languages. So you can see here, machine translation has 80% from English to Italian and 90% from English to Japanese. Why are we doing this? Because instead of plain guesswork, what we're doing is we are analyzing the post-editing effort for these languages and saying that from English into Italian, translators usually are helped, machine translation help translators very much. So we can go down to 80%. From English into Japanese, that's more difficult. So we keep it to 90% because we see from the post-editing effort that the translators are taking more time in editing those matches. So the reason why we are not letting user change that parameter is that that parameter is based on millions of words that we translated in MateCat and analyzed to see what the post-editing effort for each language pair is. Okay.
So it's a kind of generalized average effort. So far, it cannot be changed, right?
Exactly.
So this is the answer.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we have next two questions from Alexander, Alex, or Alexei maybe. Does the program crash? How often, if yes? And what happens with the existing new translation in this case, if the program does crash?
Okay, I don't like lying, so yes, sometimes it happens. But it doesn't really crash the program itself. Sometimes we do have, it happens sometimes that we do have some services that are getting slower. And so our engineers try to fix that. It's all done by us, of course. With the existing and new translations in this case, they are not lost because we have a caching system. So your browser on your side, on your client, so in your computer, will store the segments that you are translating. And when the servers comes up again or the malfunctioning is fixed, that's a matter of minutes usually, your browser will send back all the contributions to the server. So nothing happens with your translations in that case. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And one more question from Alex is, the functionality of the app is quite plain. How much time is it needed to grasp the app for an unexperienced translator, for a beginner?
I would say around 15 minutes. I mean, our effort in MateCat was to remove all the clutter, all the buttons, all the functionalities that you can find in other CAT tools. But we don't remove them and say they're not there anymore. We let the machine do the work for you. For instance, when you are translating in another CAT tool, at some point you will need to click a button to do a QA. In MateCat, the machine will do it for you, so you don't have that button. The only button you actually need in MateCat is the one to say translate. And actually, you can even use keyboard shortcuts, so you don't even need to use that button. But still, we want to keep things as simple as possible for our users. The experience in MateCat should be as easy as with mobile apps. So something that you can learn in 10, 15 minutes, like that.
Okay, great, thank you. So your final aim is to have only one button, translate, yes? You push it and you have translation.
Our final aim
yes.
is to
another question from Alex. Yep.
Okay. No, go ahead, go ahead. I was just making a joke.
No, it's interesting. to connect to the brain of a person. Wow,
Exactly.
it's something, you know.
Well, I saw that in Dublin a couple of days ago at the Web Summit. There was this startup created by a neurobiologist researcher who created a sort of a connector between the machine and the human, so that deaf people could understand words spoken without reading the lips. It was amazing. And I said, hey, I need this for my MateCat. Just kidding.
So the buttons can be clicked with your the power of your mind. Yes, you needn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Well, another question from Alexei. It's about PDF format. Does MateCat support it, and does it cover? Is it convenient to use it? Because, for example, if you speak about another tools, everyone wanted to advertise. It is a bit frustrating, especially in segments breaking.
That happens, of course, with PDFs. It's always tricky, but MateCat does support them. In fact, we don't only support PDFs, but as you can see here, I think you can still see my screen. We support PDF, we support PNG, JPEG, TIFF. Basically, you can even translate pictures in MateCat. What we have in the backend is an OCR software. So a software that is capable of recognizing character in the documents, in the files, extracting those and making those available to translate. What is the kind of success rate that we have there? Well, I'm very confident that with the PDF files scanned with a good quality, the success rate is great. I like it. With the standard PDF files so created by Word or other software, of course, it's perfect. And with the images, it's still good. It works. But of course, you have to understand that the software is trying to interpret something that is not written text. So it's trying to extract words, understanding if there are words in a picture, for instance, and making it available for you. In general, however, I would say that it's better than other commercial software that we see out there. And one thing that I want to mention here is that also all these file formats that we support, the filters for these file formats are open source and free for everybody, which is quite new. We just released that on the 1st of November. Okay.
Okay, great. Another question from Evgeny. Are you going further enhance and develop your platform? What features should we expect in the nearest future and in a more distant future? Except the mind operating MateCat that was already mentioned.
So mind reading in 2017, but earlier than that, so we are definitely going to continue enhancing and developing our platform. So we are using it every day for our job. So everything that our translators and our project managers need is going to be in the software. Right now, we are focusing very much on the integration of MateCat with other technology. So we're working a lot on API support. And so it's something that the user don't really see, but it's important for the software. In terms of most important feature for the users, two. One is the editing log, so being able to collect more accurate information on your editing work, so you really understand how you are translating. And two, improving the experience with the tags. So when you have markup languages and you have tags in your translations, we want to manage that automatically.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
A question from Olga. So it's about security. Can I be sure about confidentiality of information that is loaded into the cloud? I translate legal contracts and have NDA obligations. So you might understand, so privacy is very important for me.
Yeah. So here I usually have two.
Good question.
Yes, it's a very good question, and it comes up quite a lot. And I have usually two answers. One, from the legal standpoint, it actually depends on what's written in your NDA. So I don't want to say that you can definitely use MateCat, because maybe in your NDA it's clearly specified that you cannot use cloud-based software. However, one important aspect to understand here is that MateCat uses the same security that online banking uses. So the best security that is available right now online. And what I like to say is that if your client is sending you the file to translate via email, well, that file can also be translated in MateCat, because the technology is exactly the same. If it's safe enough to send via email, it's safe enough to translate in MateCat. Let's say that when you work for some governments, they don't send you files. They come to your door with hard copies in a suitcase and they hand it to you. That's real privacy, and we have that happening sometimes. When you send files via email, you can translate them with MateCat.
Okay, great, thank you. So how interesting, actually. It is something new for me as well.
Okay.
Another question from Maxim. Does the MateCat support auto-propagation, especially when we split the file into separate parts?
Yes. So MateCat supports auto-propagation of repetitions. So if you have the same sentence appearing over and over again in your document, you translate it once and it's auto-propagated. You can also, of course, at some point, once you change the repetition, you can do that. You can then decide to auto-propagate it again, or just use that special translation for that one segment. When splitting one file, we auto-propagate through all the splits, because we want to make sure that there is consistency among the different translators.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Alessandro. So far, colleagues, if you have questions, you're welcome to put it right away. Frankly speaking, I should confess, Alessandro, that out of 5 webinars with all different cat producers, it's our personal record. This is the greatest number of questions that was asked and answered.
That's good.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure this is great. Colleagues, if you have questions, you have the last chance to put them. Still, if you have to think it over and you have questions later on, you can ask them in our group or at the website directly, and we will forward them to Alessandro, and definitely you will have answers, and everyone will be able to see the answers too. Well, yes. Since I don't see other questions, I think that will do so far. I'm sure there will be some later on, and we may discuss it in the group, or maybe have one more webinar later on. Okay. So far, what I want to mention is that we are actually getting back to our usual rhythm. If everything is okay, in a week we will have one more webinar, and there will be only one issue, that the speaker of another CAT tool is having a business trip, and I know that Alexandra was also coming back from the business trip today. So things do happen, but hopefully everything is okay, and we'll have one more webinar next week and many more ahead waiting us. Thank you very much, Alessandro. We really enjoyed it, and okay. I am sure that the webinar is very interesting and will be very popular online. As we agreed, the webinar will be published online on Tuesday, since Monday is a dismal day, as we agreed with Alessandro. So since next Tuesday, you'll be able to watch it, ask questions, and enjoy MateCat. Thank you very much, dear colleagues.
Okay. Thank you.
Goodbye. All the best.